It's time to check your money with America's money maven, Vicki Brackens. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and the registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Vicki, how are you doing on this fine morning?
I'm doing great, George, and sounds like you're doing well too. All pumped up and ready to go.
Let's go.
Is that because you are just full of basketball fever?
I am. Although look, the orange are gone, but we hanging in there. But and my bracket, I didn't even do a bracket. But if I did, it would have been long busted.
Did you hear what happened though on the brackets?
What happened?
Someone won the $1 million from Warren Buffett because he's been running for several years with his employees a special $1 million bracket contest so that if anybody got all of I think it was the first 16 games as far as up to the Sweet 16, got all the games correct, he'd pay him out $1 million. He had this going on so long that he had to change the rule because nobody did it,
Right.
and he wanted to give away the money. So he came up with this time if you got 32 out of the 30 out of the 32 right, you got the $1 million anyway. Long story short, someone won finally. I think
Wow.
I think I think Buffett was happier than the person who won it because he's been trying for years to give away that money.
But you had to work for him.
You had to, oh yeah, no, it wasn't for the company, for the employees of Berkshire Hathaway. Okay.
Okay, okay. You had to work for him. It wasn't just him giving you some change.
No, 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 no. But still, it was a nice thing. Okay. And they've been trying for years to make that happen. It was nice to read that story. It's good to read something really happy in the news these days, don't you think, George?
I think so. I mean, we've been hearing a lot of other stuff. And, I just want to say something to folks. Look, we like to read, we like to listen to music, we like to dance. I would just encourage people to take care of themselves right now because you can overload yourself with the everyday something, and we
Yeah, we're waking up first thing in the morning and getting shocked or having some additional level of stress added to it the night
right.
before. So you never really come down. You just
No, and there are
gradually
reasons to be concerned. Obviously, Social Security, Medicare, all of the things. We obviously should be concerned. But you know what? I have my boots on the ground.
gotcha. Gotcha. Wow. Well, listen, you kind of dovetailed into a couple of things that I want to talk about today. And, periodically I'll take some time to tell you about some of the things that we are doing around Brackens Financial Solutions Network as far as developing systems and product lines and so forth. And I think I've said this 1,000 times before, but I'll say it again. My team is awesome that
Yes,
works with me
yes,
here
they
in the
are.
that
Yes,
works
they are.
Mike Jennings, Christopher Sedano, Elian Maxino, Pramod Mali, and of course, Miss Melissa Haywood. But
Come
I'm
on.
talking about particularly the four young men that are here with us, and two of them who have been really focused on developing for us what we call the financial well-being survey system. Now, let me tell you what that's all about. It's really for employers to get a gauge of the well-being financially of their employees through a anonymous survey system that we have developed that we're going to be rolling out sometime probably I'd say around the end of May, 1st of June, because what we have found out is that in order to really get a gauge on and hit, uh, get ahead of trouble before it happens, you have to have conversations. But how do you have conversations with your employees about their financial well-being beyond just saying, are you making enough money? Because sometimes it's more than just making enough money. There may be other financial stressors that are happening in the household.
Hmm.
There may be other things that need to be considered, but do you feel comfortable having those conversations?
Right.
So through some of and you're going to love this, George, some of the research that has been done by the CFPB board, Consumer
Consumer,
Financial Protection Board,
yes.
that no longer exist.
No, right? I was gonna say, yeah.
They thought, okay, it's in court, okay. But the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau the board, okay, that was stood up during the financial crisis back in 2006, 7, and 8. And as you recall, Senator Elizabeth Warren, in fact, led that institution into existence to make sure that consumers were being protected against all kinds of consumer fraud, things related to banking issues, because that really was part of the financial crisis. Well, they do a lot of incredible research, and they did a lot of research around financial well-being, and we took that research and actually molded it, okay, to a point where we can now offer a particular surveying system that will allow employers, on, as I said, on an anonymous basis, to really get a full gauge of what's happening with their employees. And by having that information, you can also track to see, should I be doing certain things for my employees above and beyond, by providing information or access to information that may help them as far as how they are doing financially. So that's going to roll out, like I said, probably right at the end of May, 1st of June. Anybody who wants to get a preview, feel free to give us a call, and we'd be happy to have one of our research associates sit with you, or even if you want to come in, we could do a demonstration of how that system is working. Here's the second thing, George. Okay, now you're gonna love this one.
Two things. Okay.
Two
And I
things.
got something for you too.
Okay, that we've been working on. I'm gonna see how you're doing, because we didn't have a chance to talk about this ahead of time. If I asked you,
Oh gosh.
here we go, you ready now? What one iconic thing, or what thing do you think about most, that people have been talking about most, relative to how they feel about the pricing or what's happening in the economy? What would come to mind right away for you?
Eggs.
Eggs. I love it. Eggs. We got a special thing that we're doing with eggs that everybody's gonna love. I can't wait to pull the covers back on our egg product.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it that, our egg product. Okay. Every time I ask that question, people go, eggs.
Eggs.
Eggs. Okay.
Yeah.
So we spent some deep dive on some research around eggs that you're
Yeah.
gonna really love when you see it. Okay.
I don't know if I told you this, but I was in New York a couple weeks ago, and there was a surcharge on eggs.
Surcharge.
Yes, like plus they added 75 cents to the bill just because we ordered eggs. Literally, yes, they did. Per
So
person,
you got breakfast,
right. And
and
on
then
the thing they
you
said,
ordered eggs.
and they said plus 75 cents on
Oh
top of what? Yes, a surcharge
no,
on
you
eggs.
tell me about that. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is serious. So when you said one thing about eggs,
Wow. Was this a regular restaurant or chain?
uh, it's a regular restaurant that is a chain in New York City.
Okay. All right.
It's called. Do you want the name of it?
Give me the name of the place.
It's called Jimbo's Hamburger Palace.
Jimbo's Hamburger Palace charging a surcharge for eggs.
Right now, this
And the eggs probably cost more to begin with, right?
yeah, and so this is a that's why I say it's a local restaurant, but it's a chain in New York with
Gotcha.
a couple of locations. This one is on 138th, 37th Street and Malcolm X Boulevard. It's right on the corner. It's right in the city, right in the heart.
Let's give them the advertising now. Okay.
Well, I'm just telling you where it is. I'm telling you this one particular one,
Uh-huh.
but so sometimes I like to get some breakfast over there.
Right.
And so, because
Well, I'm gonna remember that. I want to pay attention to my bill too, because I haven't gone out to
oh
breakfast.
no, but they put it on there plus 75 cent
And it said egg surcharge.
egg surcharge.
Okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right. What you gonna tell me though? You said you got something to share.
So, Vicky, I know that it's Sunday, and I know you have your eye on the week ahead.
Oh,
So listen, while we were sitting here, and you said, go to LinkedIn and subscribe to Eyes on the Week Ahead. Your boy went on LinkedIn and subscribed to Eyes on the Week Ahead.
okay.
You want to
Thank you so
describe what
much.
that is for the peoples?
So Eyes on the Week Ahead is our newsletter, our special newsletter that we do each week to give everyone a very summarized overview of what we believe will be the 2 or 3 hot button issues in the news in the news that you need to watch for the week coming up. We produce that. It comes out first thing on Monday mornings. You need to go in right now into LinkedIn. If you are a LinkedIn, you have a LinkedIn profile. If not, you need a LinkedIn profile. Go in and to your profile area, go in and type in Eyes on the Week Ahead and subscribe so that when we come into tomorrow, in fact, as publication, you'll get a notification first thing on Monday morning to look at the as I said, 2 or 3 stories that we think are hot button issues for the week ahead to give you a summarized version of information that will be impactful for you.
All
Thank
right.
you, George.
Well,
Okay.
now, Vicki, I got a question for you now.
Yeah.
We have not rehearsed this. So if you say, hey, George, we'll get back to you next week. But I do have a question
All right.
because I'm just thinking, what's the mindset around what we're seeing in the market and the volatility? What is the mindset that what's the mindset?
Okay, so what I'm about to say, I want everybody to understand this is for educational purposes only. That this information is not to be taken as specific investment advice. Okay, so here's what the mindset is. We are watching the fact that the consumer sentiment is getting more and more negative every day. You say, now why does that matter? Because how does that really? Sentiment is an emotion, right? Sentiment is a feeling.
Confidence, right?
Confidence. But what you have to realize is that the consumer in the US economy drives 60 to 70% of market activity, meaning the economy itself is built upon consumers participating, buying things, working, productivity, which is driven by folks buying things. Well, if it becomes more negative, the natural reaction and the counter reaction to that is we start to hoard and hold back because we're unsure and don't have the confidence to move forward with purchases, particularly big ticket items.
Yeah.
Those items and that sentiment getting more and more negative each day is many times, not guaranteed, but many times a harbinger of a recession coming. There are a couple of things that we are watching in that vein. I am not saying a recession is here, but I am saying that the evidence toward a recession, the things that we watch, are starting to pile up. One of them being what's called the yield curve. Now you thinking like, Vicki, here we go getting technical, and I don't have my little bell today, but logically you can think about this. If I were borrowing money from you, George, and I needed it for a week versus a year, where would you want me to pay more interest if I were only borrowing it for a week or for a year?
For a week.
More interest?
Yeah.
I'm borrowing it and I'm gonna let you have my money for a year versus let you have my money for a week. You want more interest in the week than for the year?
No, I'm thinking I was thinking short term, but yeah, I would probably want more if you want me to hold it for a year.
For a
Absolutely.
year, okay. And the normal structure of borrowing, which is what bonds are, which is what lending is about, is that the longer you have to have the money out, meaning that the bank says, if I'm going to out here for a year, then I want more interest than if I'm going to get it back to you in a week, short term versus long term.
Yes, yes.
But what you described, and I know why you did it, is because right now short term rates are higher than long term rates. That is called an inversion, where the short is paying more than the long. The correct relationship should be the other way. Many times when we see an inversion of the yield curve, that interest rate is called yield in technical language. When we see that happen, and we look back historically, that usually means within 12 to 24 months, we're going to have a recession. Well, let's tail back to 2022. when interest rates went just crazy. Remember that?
I
Up into eight,
remember
nine.
that.
Okay. All right. One of the reasons the Federal Reserve did that, okay, as far as raising interest rates, was to drive down borrowing costs in relation to the amount of liquidity, the amount of cash that was out there, because we were going to get runaway inflation. They have been very careful, and they talked about, this soft landing, glide path. Fortunately, they actually pulled it off, and we did not fall into recession while they were doing this adjustment. But unfortunately, over the last couple of months, because of the changes in direction in the underlying economy, with many of the things that are being done through executive action, that process of gliding us down away from recession is now being challenged in the economic underpinnings. And so what we're watching is, one, the economic issues around inflation are increasing. The levels of confidence is decreasing, which are all stacking on to the possibility for a recession, which has gone from about 10% when we started in January to roughly 45 to 50% currently. Okay. I did not say we're having a recession, did I?
No.
I said the possibilities have increased.
Right.
I spoke about this a couple months ago. Get your cash in order. Remember that?
I do.
I'm saying it even more. Get your cash in order. Make sure that you are, because the levels of layoffs is going to increase also. I do expect that to happen.
See that happening, especially in federal contracting and such. Yeah.
Federal contracting, because of the fact that the economy is intertwined. So we can't just disrupt large segments of the economy without having some other areas of the economy having an impact.
Well, this may be a question. I have another question.
Okay.
I have to ask this question because Vicki,
You should.
okay.
This is what this show is about.
What the impact of DEI and holding back on certain companies, right? And is there any correlation at all, because we're especially some major retailers, that are, that are being impacted, right? Do we need to name them?
Yes.
Yeah. So like people pulling back from Target, for example, and the impact of that and other companies, right? And so I'm wondering if that's also having an impact in the market.
It's having an impact in Target's market.
Target's market, right?
Okay. Is it bleeding over to the full market yet? I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. Good. Is that a good question though?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
It definitely is having an impact to the bottom line of Target, and other retailers are watching. There is no doubt.
Yeah.
Okay? The challenge right now, though, George, this is Vicki's opinion. Okay. The challenge is right now there are so many things in the water. It's almost like chum. You know what chum is?
Oh, no.
When you go fishing and they dump all that crap in the water, so the sharks come and eat this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
There's so much stuff in the water right now. Focusing on exactly what's having the greatest level of impact, especially as far as action relative to trying to countermeasures against many of the things that have happened in the executive order, are more difficult to pinpoint. But I can say it's having a definite impact in Target's market right now, and the rest of it is to be seen. What we are seeing, though, most of all, and we'll see in the next couple of days, is what the impact of tariffs is really going to be.
Right, because there's another scheduled tariff
on Tuesday, on the second, excuse me, Wednesday.
On Tuesday, on Wednesday. So yeah. Oh.
So this is going to be an interesting action-packed week, whether or not it will these last level of announced tariffs will go through, whether there'll be some, again, last minute negotiations between countries that will change, whether it's going to be a targeted tariff or a broad brush or industry specific, as it's still to be seen.
All right, Vicki.
All right. Okay. All right. So what do you have any more questions, George?
I'm good.
You good?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
good.
All right. So again, I want to also encourage everyone next week on the show. I'm having, well, all our guests are special, but I'm having an extra special guest next week, Miss Shay Brooks Rolling, who's going to be here to give us what I would call the final pep talk and information concerning the Financial Empowerment Convention that's coming up in May, in April. In April, not May. I'm doing something else in May. In April, okay, in April, to get everyone, if you haven't gotten your tickets already, you need to get your tickets now because there will be a price increase, I'm sure, coming up very shortly for last minute registration. And why pay extra when you can pay the current admission cost?
FinancialEmpowermentSummit.org. I'm a partner. Vicki's a partner. We just want to tell y'all to get your tickets.
Get your tickets, please. Okay, get your tickets. The lineup is incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And there's absolutely, and it's on a Saturday, so okay, you don't have to worry about taking off time from work.
Saturday, April 12th at the On Center.
And at the end of the evening, we're gonna have a party, and you know how we love to make sure that we end off with joy. And this is going to be a joyous party, but you can't go to the party if you didn't come to learn the information. You got to be there to have a great time. It's coming up on April 12th. So now, George, I'm going to say our plate is full. Have a fantastic week. You can reach us at area code 315-930-4499 or at info@brackensfsn.com. Make sure and go to LinkedIn and subscribe for Eyes on the Week Ahead. Our plate is now full.
All right. Vicki Brackens is the president of Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial member SIPC. Don't forget to share and subscribe because Vicki is America's money maven.